Hello and welcome to Las Blancas podcast.
I'm your host Yash Thakur, and we are back with another episode of Las Blancas. It's been a while, but this break was sort of enforced because our first game right after the international break was postponed due to bad weather. I think the lineups came out and everything, and we even had a discussion about the lineups. I tweeted about the lineups saying, oh, only two changes and everything. And guess what happens next? The next thing you know, the entire game has been postponed. So, even the universe is sort of like, okay, this is too little of changes, too few changes for Toril in a lineup. So we are going to just postpone this game. So we did not play against Real Sociedad, which we were supposed to right after the international break. The international break was sort of a fruitful one, but also not for one of our Madridistas out there. Uh, we'll talk about the international break. We'll give you a breakdown of what happened, what was at stake for different teams, and what ended up happening. But today, the main focus will be a couple of things. Number one will obviously be the Sevilla game, which we ended up winning 4-1. Up next, we'll have Celtic, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And the other major talking point, apart from the international break, would be the FIFPRO 11, which had two of our players, which was very, very surprising. Like one of the players, definitely not, but the other choice was sort of controversial, raised a lot of eyebrows here and there, but it was a good talking point. It's good for the discourse, I would say. Also, I think there has been Guardian top 100 out as well. I haven't even myself looked at the entire ranking. I just went through the first 50, and there were a couple of our players as well there. So we will talk about all these year-end rankings that we get about different positions, different players. And to do all of that, as always, I've got Kanita. Kanita, it's been a while. How are you?
Yeah, and like you said, the universe saw two changes from Toril for Sociedad game and said, "Nah, we're not doing this." So yeah, it was actually they said, "Oh, it will take place like 30 minutes after, it was scheduled." And then they saw it like 15 minutes into that like 30-minute period and yeah, we're gonna postpone it. It's too strong of a wind. So yeah, it's so weird. They warmed up and all. So yeah, they went to international break without that one game, and we had two games in November postponed. The first that Levante game due to floods, and which was actually the first game after the international break. So we didn't play the first after the last international break and the last before this international break. So yeah, it's been kind of wild, thing without this. So yeah, I mean we're back, Sevilla, and we also have like the Copa de la Reina draw. It was out during the international break. So yeah, we're playing that in the end of December. Imagine, not January, which was kind of surprising for me, but sure, So another talking about point of this, podcast. So yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, so there's gonna be a lot of games. Also, we'll have to cover up for these two postponed games. Later on, they will be rescheduled somewhere. So it's going to be a hectic period. It's going to be an intense period that decides our season, basically. So let's see how we fare. But let's get into talking about the game first. The most recent game that we won against Sevilla, 4-1. Pretty comprehensive win, I would say. And looking at the lineup was not your usual lineup, especially like after the international break, getting those players back, you have to be mindful about how you use them and how much you use them. So not your usual lineup, but I think a pretty strong lineup and a pretty comprehensive win. Like four goals, one different goal scorers, four different goal scorers we had, and a player in a new sort of role also excelling. somehow managing a way to fit in two strikers into the lineup, which isn't going to happen that often. I'm guessing, but still an interesting experiment. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the lineups first. So as always, 4-2-3-1, that did not change. The basic shape did not change, but it was Misa in goal, and it was Sheila as the right back with a centre back pairing of Rocio and Maile Lakrar. Left back, as always, Olga started that position. A midfield double pivot of Sandy Toletti and Leopolds, which again, back to the basics, back to what we started with. The front four was interesting. The front four was Linda, Alba Redondo, Eva Navarro, with Bruun leading the line. Now, this was, I think, the second time that we had to both of them starting together, or the third time probably this season. The last time it was like one of them started on the flanks and the other one was the striker, but I think this is the first time that Alba Redondo is starting off as the sort of number 10 playing behind the striker, sort of, with Bruun in the most advanced position and Alba Redondo sort of covering up in the hole. What did you make of the lineup when you first saw it, and what was your initial reaction to this lineup?
So actually, my first thought when I saw the lineup was when I saw Eva Navarro's name on it, because I saw a lot of people talking about how oh she starts in this game against Sociedad and then the game gets postponed. So unlucky Eva, but she's not unlucky. She got a start in this game. So yeah, that was my first thought. But yeah, it was weird to see Redondo in this role because when I saw the team sheet, I thought naturally that Bruun would be kind of behind her and acting as a 10. Like she's more used to that role. We haven't seen Redondo in this role, like you said. This is the first time we see her here, and yeah, the rest really isn't surprise. Always it's always a debate for the for the center backs and the right back. I mean, at this point, it's useless talking about the rotation between the right backs and the center backs. So yeah, I mean, the only really two these two kind of surprised that Eva Navarro and started and Redondo as a 10. I think like she did a decent game, like not just the assisted did, but yeah. I mean, let's get into it. Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel I agree with you. I feel like Redondo playing behind that striker role. I think it helped in 4-4-2 when we were off the ball, that we had both of these strikers sort of helping the press, and that press also resulted in the fourth goal that Bruun scored. We'll get into that. I'll actually skip the first goal because I think we will talk about that player in a lot more detail towards the end. But let's talk about the other goals. So the first goal was scored by Sheila Garcia. Everyone knows, a really good goal, but we'll talk about that in more detail when we talk about Sheila Garcia and her performance, because it was a really, really good performance, and she actually showcased the versatility that we have signed her for, how she can plug in different positions and she can fill in a big role in the squad. But let's talk about the second and the third goal. Second goal, Sandy Toletti, Bruun's assist. Third goal, Linda Caicedo, Redondo's assist. I feel both the assists were a bit fraudulent, like, don't hold me there. But both the assists were like, they did not do much. Bruun, for the Toletti goal, Bruun herself was going for the shot. She was blocked off, so she played the ball back, and then Toletti finished it really, really nicely into the back of the net. And then, I mean, Linda Caicedo's goal was Redondo just playing a ball to Linda and then Linda doing everything on her own. So, yes, they are technically an assist, but I don't know if they should go down as that. I think it was more of those two players doing individually and creating that goal. But really good goal. Like, talking about Linda's goal especially, she as always picked the ball on the left, cut inside, dropped the shoulder, beat one player, generated that space, and then finished near post, which was very difficult for the goalkeeper to stop. Which, by the way, for Sevilla, a very familiar name, Esther Sulastres, was there, who is a known thorn in the side of a lot of big teams, because she comes up with ridiculous saves close range, and she's able to deny a lot of those opportunities. And there have been a lot of occasions where she has denied some clear goal scoring opportunities to big sides. So she has that reputation, but none of that mattered when Linda Caicedo cut in inside and scored at the near post. And I think all of our goals were quite good this time around. Like all of them were pretty much bangers, sort of like Tolete's finish was also quite good, to say, and the fourth goal by Bruun was just insane strike. So you what did you make of those three goals from second to the fourth one? Like, do you have anything specific to say? I have a couple of pointers for the fourth one, but what did you make of those goals?
Yeah. um Actually, the third goal for me is interesting. Not just the finishing, obviously. You already mentioned it. It goes without saying. I mean, Linda, come on. But it was a goal kick by Suyastres, which was lowered by Leupolz there, and Alba, because well, she did find herself in this game in this position, and Alba was there, pulled back just in positions to get that ball that Leupolz lowered, like just in there in time, and then she quickly gave it to Bruun, Redondo to Bruun, and she controlled it, like Bruno's control, and then back to Alba. Alba then found Linda open on the left hand side, and well, Linda was like, she had like two defenders in front of her, and she found space to shoot it in. Like that's brilliant. But I think that whole like kind of sequence was interesting to me. Like, it's like a sort of a ping pong sort of thing for me, but it's good. I mean, it depended a lot on the control of the ball of our players as well, like the lowers and control by Bruun and everything. So yeah, it was the Toletti goal was actually well, like, team well executed teamwork as well. I mean, Linda found that space to kind of she like pass it to Alba, found her there, and then Toletti behind was there behind her, found her. Toletti go to Bruun, okay, take it, Bruun, it's yours, and she didn't find space like you said, and gave it back to Toletti, and she chipped it. Yeah, it was a chip and great goal as well. I think that most of them were like outside of the box.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
pretty sure.
uh,
I don't know if
I think
Linda's goal was at the entrance of the box. Did she just enter, or was it just? But yeah, basically, I mean, all four bangers really,
yeah,
and
three
yeah,
three
I
of
I
the
like
four
the
goals three of the
yeah
four goals that we scored in that game were from outside the box, and Linda's was just inside. So all the
yeah
four goals came from the edge of the box. So not that many shots from inside the box either. So that was one of the issues, because Sevilla were defending quite deep and quite compact. I wouldn't say they were the best defense, but they were, like you mentioned on the Linda goal as well. There were two players in front of her. For the Bruun shot as well, quickly two players got in front of her and blocked that shot. So they were really good at sort of committing players and denying that direct shot opportunity from inside the box. And I think what happened in this game, for all four of the goals coming from edge of the box, is not really normal, and I don't think that is going to be the case always. But yeah, I mean, it's always good to see these golazos once in a while in a game. So yeah, you can go on.
Yeah, and I really like like I said, Alba found herself in this position. In this, so I mean, Alba went to high press as well, and the fourth goal, it was like her high press on Suyastres actually gave this panic between her defender and then Suyastres to kick it out in panic. And Bruun was there to lower it, which Is usually there at lowering the ball. Like, I've noticed that the goal kicks by other goalkeepers in past games, I always see Bruun there ready to do it, and now she received it and took a shot there as well. Very, very very good, like from a not just from a distance, it's from an angle too. It's like it went like a rocket, like a wishing star or something like that. So yeah, basically that's it.
That was the farthest goal in this game, like from the farthest out, like a really good strike. And it's not just Brune doing it at Madrid, but this is what she does in the front too at Denmark as well. So, she's used to her positioning is quite good. She knows where the second ball is going to come if being pressed. She knows how her angles. She know who the next pass outlet can be in that press. So she's positioning herself right in those positions to sort of get those second balls, win those second balls, and then generate shooting opportunities like these ones. And when it comes off, it comes off. Like that is an unsavable goal at any given day by any given goalkeeper. So, it was a really good goal, 4-1, to see both of them on the pitch together. One's action sort of prompting the goal for the other player. That was really good to see. But I think the reason I skipped the first goal is because I think Sheila definitely easily player of the match for both of us. I think we can unanimously agree and give it to her for this game already. And I think we can discuss about her like that in a player of the match performance. I think she was brilliant, and that goal just was the cherry on the top. Even without the goal, I think, even without that opening goal, I think she was the best player on the pitch on that day, because not only did she play one half as the right back, in the second half, when we brought on Oyehane, she was switched to the left back position because Olga was taken off, and she did just equally well at the left back position as well. So, in the second half, yes, since we were already 3-0 up going into halftime, there was a sort of a game state effect where we started the second half a little bit slow. We still dominated territory for large parts, but I think to be able to play left back and right back in the same game and to do it as well as she did, I think deserves the plaudits. And I think it really underlined what she's brought into the squad to do. Like, she is here to sort of be that player who can plug these positions. She can play up front, sometimes plugging the gap for Eva Navarro or Atenea if they need a rest. She can play as the right back, giving rest to Oyane. She can play at left back, giving rest to Olga. So this is a perfect sort of squad player who can, fill in different positions and has enough quality when starting in one of the positions to sort of help us see out games like these where we can rest key players as well. So I think it was a really good game from her defensively and offensively. Offensively, of course, she grabbed that goal on the counter, made a really good run, which I wasn't expecting actually for her to make. It was a very unexpected sort of run that she made inside on the underlap, went towards the center and just kicked it from the outside of the box to for a great finish. And we know that she has played in advanced attacking positions, so she does know how to operate in front of goal and how to pull off those finishes. But seeing it at Madrid now, it feels really good. What did you feel of Shayla's performance, and any other notes that you have on her or her performances you can share with us?
It was actually Shayla's turn, right? Like, not Shayla's turn. Shayla's recovery in her goal that started the whole thing, I think. Yeah, so she recovered the
Yeah,
ball,
it was.
and so it started and ended with her, and it was good. It was like brilliant to see. But I want to add something. So in the second half, when she was playing as the left back, so she was up against Paula Partido, and Paula Partido is our loanee. Last season she was in Celtic. She won the league with Celtic. She was injured for a lot of season as well, but she played when she wasn't, and but she's now in Sevilla this season. Well, she started this game on as the right wing, which she is. So yeah, in the first half, Paula was up against Olga, and I noticed since the beginning, it's kind of it was kind of shaky with Olga. Paula would beat her in duels a lot. However, in the second half, when Sheila was up against her, I saw that Sheila did it quite well. Um, and went up against her pretty. It was stable. It was a stable duel, and I like to see that. And I mean, later on, Paula was subbed off, so it didn't matter in the end. But I just wanted to say that, and I mean, her recovery is the she isn't Sheila isn't really afraid to go for a duel, like directly, to just go into the duel for the ball and just take it and move out of the sight from that spot. Just move, like go and take the ball and move out. From that side. Like, she does that. She's just so direct with that. I don't know. She and when she does a good game, it's obvious, and she did it here. She did it against Paula as well in the second half, and yeah, I mean, she was also the official MVP of the match, so that's good that we're unanimous MVP and Liga F's MVP. So that's nice. That's nice to know. We are agreeing with the Liga F. So yeah, I always said like Sheila. Well, Sheila is better like in attack when you need a right back to go up and kind of whenever you want your right back to switch with the right wing there at the very front, like at the corner flag, and get the ball in and all that. So she's very much capable of that. She wasn't really with Eva Navarro. The communication in this game was a bit off. Like maybe it was from Eva's perspective, but I don't know. But you know that it's one thing from Sheila. I like that she's very direct from recovering the ball and also in attack, very very aggressive with that. So yeah.
I think she's a much more offensive
Yeah,
option when compared to Oyane.
yeah,
So,
definitely.
and that comes naturally to her because she started off as the attacking option. Like that is how she has started out. She has those instincts, and I think in this game, the other thing was that she was cutting on the inside a lot more when as soon as we got into the opposition half. So she was coming on the inside a lot more. She was underlapping a lot more rather than overlapping, and that is also partially because it's Eva Navarro. Eva likes to hug the touchline herself, so having two players there making those same sort of runs, occupying the same sort of areas does not make sense. So this again, like, is a positive point for Shayla because she can adapt to whoever she's playing to. Because with Atenea, you know that she'll pick it up and she'll run on the inside. With Eva, you know that she likes to go on the outside and then try to cross the ball. Whereas for Atenea, she likes to come inside and then take on the player and then take an outside touch and go to the byline before crossing the ball in. So it's a little bit these tiny differences between the players that the fullback needs to adapt to when playing with different wingers. And I think Shayla has that. She has that understanding. We saw it in this game. And yeah, I mean, I was pretty happy with seeing her performance. I think she has, with this performance especially, she has sort of put me at ease that this player can come in and maybe not in not as a regular starter, but she's very much capable of coming in and filling those roles whenever called upon. I think the first choice will still be Oyane, but I feel like Shayla is a very capable option, especially given how her performance on the left back was, because at left back we just have one player, Olga. uh, and yeah, I mean, this makes her very valuable to the squad, and I think that is the perfect case scenario for everyone involved in this case. And I think there was some talks about us signing a Brazilian left back in the
Yasmin.
winter as well.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, once we have more news about that, we'll discuss that in detail because I'll also have to watch some clips to bring you some insights. I know a little bit about her, but I don't know. I think as a backup, that is a position that we have needed pretty badly since Savava's gone. We have relied. Olga has started every single game, and I think that is not ideal because now the intensity and the frequency of the games are going to increase, and that will take a toll on her because she plays regularly with the international side. She's playing also for the club every single game, and I think that is not ideal. I think that will lead to some potential injuries. Touch wood, it does. Hopefully, it does not. But yeah, that is always a risk. Her minutes need to be managed, and getting a backup left back will be the best option. But otherwise, we have got a very capable option in the squad currently in Sheila. She proved it in this game, so that is always a good thing. You mentioned Paula Partido as well. I mean, one of our players had a decent season at Celtic. I remember seeing a couple of her games, and I think she was quite good. She's still raw. She's still somebody who loves to run with the ball and is all about, not to be reductive, but is all about her pace on the front, like in that acceleration. She's able to accelerate away from the players very easily, and has that sort of physical tussle or physicality about her that allows her to sort of keep the challenges off as well. Despite her young age, despite her still developing frame, I think she is still very much a physically potent player, and that is her strength. That has been her strength when she was in the academy. That has been her strength when she got a few minutes with the senior side as well. And we saw that a few times here, but I think she was shut down quite well in this game. She could not do much. But I think the other player that I would like to talk about, and I mean, she did not have the best of games, partly because she was playing out of position, uh, is Lucia Corrales, who played as the left back for Sevilla. And, a lot of our goals came from that right hand side of ours where Lucia was trying to defend. But, this is a player that has had a very good under 20 World Cup very recently. She started in all games, I think, for Spain, and proved to be really, really useful, providing some 3, 4 assists. And she was really good. And the only catch is she was playing as the left winger in those games, and that is, I think, playing in an advanced role is what she's more comfortable with. And I think we saw a bit of that in this game as well, because Eva had a decent game against her, and then she was struggling in general to sort of help out with the build up as well, with the positioning and all. So, you know it's a different ball game when you play as the fullback, and while you as compared to when you play as the winger. So yeah, but I think this is a player that it is worth keeping an eye on. She looks very bright. She seemed very bright to me in the under 20 World Cup, so it's someone to keep an eye on for the listeners. But yeah, I think that is it about the game. Uh, the main talking point for me was Sheila from this game. I think if there's anything to take away from this game, it's that Sheila is a very capable player who can fill in multiple roles for us in the back line, especially when needed. So yeah, anything else that you would like to add, or we can talk about some spicy topics now?
Yeah, I actually there's one more thing. There's one interesting thing. I mean, sure, we were up 4-0 at halftime, but we finished with our subs at 57th minute, which for me it really frustrated me because so we had the double substitution at halftime and the triple substitution at 57th minute. 2 minutes, like something 2 minutes before that second sub, we had an injury scare by Lacra. There was a counter attack from Sevilla, and there was Kante going, in attack, and Lacra was really going for it to get in front of her, between her and Misa, and she did it. She saved the action and all that, but it was an injury scare. She was there. I thought she would be subbed off or whatever, and 2 minutes later we're done with the subs. Like, she's still on the pitch. She plays full 90, and it was weird to me. It's stupid game management once again. I understand that, I mean, sure, we got some rest in the first half, got on the 57th minute, and let's, prepare her for the next game and give Olga rest, give Bruun rest and all that. However, um, it's a bit weird when, that kind of thing happened 2 minutes earlier. And another thing is that her, Lacra, and Leupolz are out for Celtic because it's actually reported that they have some molestias, like some problems. I don't know. Like, I can't translate it from Spanish in my mind. I know what it means, but yeah, like molestias in their legs. So yeah, it is something in the end. I don't know, but yeah, we lost Leupolz and Lacra. So I don't know what you think about this early sub. For me, it was stupid.
Yeah, so sometimes we don't get a sub until the 80th minute, and sometimes we get all of them done before the 60th minute. So in this game, I feel being 3-0 up, we could have saved some legs in the second half and gotten some minutes into the tank for players who are probably going to start the next game against Celtic. And I think that was the idea. Could it have been managed a little bit better? Yes, definitely, especially watching what happened with Lakrar just minutes later on. I think it could have been done, wisely, and I hope Lakrar comes back because easily that, apart from our goal scoring players, I think she has easily been one of the best players of the season for us. She has been incredibly consistent, and I hope we don't lose her for long. I hopefully she comes back at the weekend. But yeah, I mean, once again, game management, how many subs to use, which players to rest, these have to be when you're 3-0 up, these have to be decided at halftime. Okay, we are going to save up these players because these are very valuable to us, and all of that. These talks need to happen at halftime, and this is a pre-planned sort of thing. I don't think that was situational. That was already decided, that those subs were premeditated, sort of, because Olga definitely needed a rest because she's going to start the next game and the one after that. Olga definitely needed a rest. So some of these decisions I fail to sort of understand. And some of these are outright down to, bad management in game. But yeah, I do get the idea behind what he was trying to do, but also like knowing what the scare was just there. I think we could have saved up at least one sub and used it better. Like, premeditated decisions do not mean that they'll always have to go through unchanged. Like, you can sometimes assess the situation and decide what suits the team the best, what is in their best interest at that point in time. And I think that is what Toril a lot of the times lacked, like his ability to change the game with the subs is not really up there. So yeah, I mean, sort of leaning towards it was a bad choice, but also understanding what he was trying to do. It was just that he's too rigid to change a preemptive decision that has already been made at halftime. So yeah. But now on to some really juicy stuff. And I say juicy because this always sparks a controversy among all the fans about which player is selected, which player is not selected. And yeah, so we have two players in the FIFPRO 11, right? We have Linda Caicedo, which, expected, brilliant player, had a brilliant year, amazing season, incredibly talented. The other player that we have in this category is Olga as the defender. So yeah, that really touched some nerve on the on Twitter. I feel like I saw some discourse around it. I saw some discourse around the forward positions as well. And I mean, it's all fair. I think these rankings and these ratings and all, it's very difficult to satisfy everyone, but I feel like, sometimes there are some unanimous decisions that need to be made. I mean, Caroline Graham Hansen not being one of the forwards is just just wild to me. It's crazy, Uh, I'll just quickly read you guys the fifth Pro 11 that was put out. So it was Mary Earps in goal, Lucy Bronze, Alex Greenwood, and Olga as the three defenders, with a midfield line of Bonmati, Walsh, and Putellas. And among forwards, it was Linda Caicedo, Marta, Lauren James, and Barbara Banda. I mean, you know, I don't know. I usually don't have any opinions on these. I'm just sometimes happy to see some of the players getting recognition. But the forward line not having Carolyn Graham Hansen is a weird call for me. Also, I heard a lot of noise about Olga being there, because as fans as well, I think Olga this season has not started well. She started really badly defensively as well. I don't know what the time frame for this is. Like
I
sometimes
know
I always
it's from 21st of August last year, which is right after the World Cup. 21st of August 2023 to 10th of August 2024. So yeah,
okay. So this season's performances don't really count
yeah,
then.
yeah.
Yeah, but I think then that is more of a reason for Carolyn Graham Hansen to be there. But I mean,
Yeah.
what do I know? But yeah, I mean, Olga had pretty iconic moments in the World Cup final. But I don't know, that does that count in this? I don't know. Uh, yeah, so it's always like these time frames and these uh, subjective sort of awards are always there. I think Olga as a defender, I wouldn't say that she was top three. And this is not me like, I'm very happy to have two players from Real Madrid in the line. Let me just make that clear, because otherwise somebody will come, oh, you hate Madrid. No, I don't hate Madrid. Make it all 11. Even though we have won nothing, make it all 11, and I'll be the happiest person in the world. I don't care about these things. These things mean nothing to me. But I think there were better defenders across the last year than Olga, and I think that is fine to say. Like, there is nobody from Lyon, there's nobody from all these big clubs, and it's fine, because it's a tough competition. It's tough to be in the top three, right? And Olga has had an up and down sort of season, where some of her attacking performances have often covered up for her defensive frailties. And I think it's fair to say that she still has some way to go to be one of the best defenders in the position. Yes, is she a differential? Is she an influential player from a position? 100%. But I feel like she still has some way to go before we can call her one of the best in her positions. And I think that is absolutely fair. What did you think of uh, this 11, this lineup? Any particular comments that you have about any selections?
I mean, listen, it's always fun to see our players there, right? And like you said, I don't care about these awards either, but I don't know, I just get excited when I see our players, even nominated. When I saw for last year's Ballon d'Or, no, our players nominated, oh my God, we nominated players for Ballon d'Or. I'm always excited. And when I see two of ours in FIFPRO 11, I mean, come on, I'm happy. But I'll put up this like ranking position by position. But it's interesting because Linda actually had the most votes in the forwards category. And again, and then it goes Marta, then goes Barbara Branda, and then goes Lauren James. So that's like top four in forwards positions. But in defenders, Olga came third, so 3 out of 3. So it was probably close or something. The next is Ona Batia from Barcelona. So yeah, I mean, there's some obviously there's some very good players in this in this list, in the short list as well. The like 23 or something. I don't know how many. Um, more. It's definitely more like the short list of for this FIFPRO 11. But it's I don't know. The players choose. It's the only award chosen by players, and it's like 7,000 professional players. So yeah, listen, I'm just excited. They got voted by the players themselves. I mean, sure, Carmona, Olga didn't really have that really differential season, but I mean, she is important to us. So I'll take it, man. I'll take it. It's fun to see. I mean, I'm really glad to see Linda first in her category. It's really big. I'm really glad for that.
As I always say, keep enjoying this player because we have a very very special player on our hands. I don't think a lot of people realize how great she is, and I think a lot of people should. So yeah, just enjoy while she's at Madrid, because in women's football you never know how the turnover is going to look like next season, which players are going to leave, which players are going to stay, you never know. So enjoy her while you can at Madrid. You never know when she'll be scoring her next goal against us. So I hope she stays. I hope she stays here till she retires. But it's
Pessimistic.
women's football. It's women's football. Anything can happen. Any players can join any team. So, Kanita, why don't you give us a quick rundown of the international break so that we can wrap up?
Yeah, so we had 8 games in total from our players. It's like 11 of our players called up, and everyone played something. So Sweden and Scotland were the only ones that played for something. They played for a spot in the next year's European Championship. So yeah, so let's start with Sweden and Scotland first. So Angel Dahl played 90 twice 90 minutes so against Serbia. They won 2-0 in Serbia and won 6-0 at home. So yeah, and Angel Dal got a goal from a penalty, the first one against Serbia in the second leg. So yeah, Angel Dal got a goal in this 180 minutes that she played. And yeah, they're qualified obviously. So then we have Scotland, which sadly they didn't go through. They are not in the Euros. Finland beat them, so it was 0-0 in Scotland. They didn't manage to get a goal. Scotland didn't manage to win, and then Finland went on to win 2-0 at home, and we are played again 180 minutes. And these are the only two players that played all minutes this international break. Then we have our favorite friendlies. Uh, so we have Denmark. Denmark played only one game. It was against Iceland. They won 2-0. Both goals scored by Sheila Bruun. And she played 75 minutes. And Moller also came on in the last 5 minutes. Bruun played the role she plays with with Madrid. She was playing together with Pernell Harder, and she was basically playing what she plays in Madrid, especially in like the two strikers role. Then we have Spain. They won 5-0 against South Korea, and 4-2 against France. So there we have four players. Olga didn't play against South Korea, played 68 minutes against France. Maria Mendes didn't play again the first game, but played the full game against France and sadly scored a own goal. We don't, yeah. Um, yeah. Anyway, we have Sheila. Sheila played full 90 against Korea and came on in the added time against France. So. And Tere played the most out of the Spaniards, 74 against Korea. She got an assist. She assisted Aitana there in the third goal, for 3-0, and played 78 against France. And then we have France, which played against Nigeria 2-1, and lost against Spain 2-4, obviously. So Lacra played the full 90 minutes in the first game. And in the second game, she just got on for 1 minute. She got in for injured Estelle Cascarino, who was in the end she tore her ACL against Spain. So yeah, Lacra got in for Cascarino there. Then Toletti played the full 90 against Nigeria, 35 against Spain. And Feller got on in the second half, played the full second half against Nigeria, and didn't play against Spain. So yeah, it was fun.
a lot of players involved, a lot of players playing a lot of minutes. So, it's going to be crucial to manage these minutes for the players in the upcoming schedule. We also have drawn Villarreal for our Copa, who will be playing against on December 20th. So, when that happens, we'll obviously bring you guys a post game pod. But I think that is it about this game. Uh, One important announcement once again, guys, because the next episode is going to be members only. So if you haven't joined, please do consider joining patreon.com/managing Madrid. That way you support us, you support our work, and you help us grow as well. We are trying our best to bring you content about Las Blancas, the best content about Las Blancas that we can, and your support means a lot to us. So yeah, it's patreon.com/managing Madrid. Until next time, a la Madrid.
Hala Madrid.